Hi everyone, this is Juna Lu and Minghao Yang, and today we will talk about our mini quantum error correction lab building Qiskit. Nowadays, quantum device might introduce errors at almost every step of a computation, like when we apply a gate, or when we try to measure a qubit, or even just leave a qubit idle. That's why to achieve long and reliable quantum computations, we will need quantum error correction. The basic idea of QEC is to encode one logical qubit into many physical qubits, and then design measurements and decoding rules so that even if some physical qubits are corrupted, the logical information can still be recovered. However, Qiskit's QEC framework is still under active development, and many existing tools are abstract or heavyweight, and making it hard for students to run realistic noisy circuits and directly compare logical and physical error rates. Our project aims to build a small, extensible QEC playground where you can pick a code, choose a noise model, run simulations, and immediately visualize how well different codes project information under different kinds of noise. In our flow work, basically, we will choose a logical state and identify the dominant noise channel first. Then we will build a circuit with our surface code. After that, we'll run noisy circuit on an air simulator to collect the output. And finally, decode the measurements back into logical values and calculate the error rate. Here is how our project is structured. In the codes part, we have different surface codes. In the noise part, we have different noise models to help us better simulate the actual process of quantum computing. In the experiments part, we provide utilities that combine a chosen code with a chosen noise model, run Monte Carlo simulations, and measure the logical error rate. Finally, in the notebook folder, we can have demos that call these packages and visualize the results. Here are several noise models that we implemented. The first one is bit flip noise. After each gate, the qubit may suffer an X error with probability P, and as shown in the block sphere image here, the arrow will be turned from a 0 state to 1 state. And the second noise model we implemented is the phase flip noise. Similar to the bit flip, the qubit may suffer a Z error with probability P and turn the error from the positive state to negative state. And the final model we implemented is the depolarizing noise. It spreads the probability P evenly over X, Y, Z errors. Let's take the bit flip noise for example. The bit flip noise model builds a fresh noise model by defining a polyarrow channel for single qubits and forming the tensor product that channel with itself for 2 qubit gates, so each qubit independently faces an X flip. The single qubit gates and the 2 qubit gates enumerates with gate names receive the noise, because ear simulators insert spaces change gate with transbilling, applying the error model to ID or edge or SX ensures those operations also fill the configured probability. And the following are similar builders for some other noise models that we built, all validating that probabilities lie in 0 and 1. For each probability P, the ear simulator executes the circuit shots times under the chosen noise model, each execution in one Monte Carlo sample. The resulting counts dictionary reports how many samples collapsed to each classical bitstring. For the physical baseline helper, the run physical qubit function implements the physical reference curve. It validates the logical state and the noise type, builds a 1 qubit circuit that applies X only preparing one state, then immediately measures into a single classical bit. And we can pull the chosen noise builder from here. So the circuit is transpiled against the ear simulator, and the resulting counts are compared to the expected bits. The wrong shots are summed and normalized by the total shots. Overall, this function is exactly what will be used in the notebook to produce the orange physical qubits data series for each probability p. And for the logical sweep engine, the run code on noise grid generalizes the experiments to any database. PS takes a list of physical error rates and a noise label, the logical state, and the shot count. For each probability p, it builds a requested noise model called codes.build circuit, transpile to an ear simulator, and run the circuit. The raw counts go straight into code.logic error rate from counts, returning a logical error estimated stored in result p. And here we'll print the progress logs in format, which is the notebook surface displayed as cell output. Because this function only depends on the abstract interface, swapping to some other surface codes can be easily done and won't require any further programming. Before using the surface codes, we will first examine how a single qubit behaves when every gate is subject to the noise with probability p to a baseline circuit with a single gate. As the basic circuit diagram above, for further simulation, we build a one-state circuit with a single X gate and measure it immediately. Here we'll illustrate the principle of parity checks. For the surface code that we will introduce next, each of its stabilizer is essentially a parity check. Then we can apply our surface code to the circuit we constructed above. First of all, each surface code is structured based on the base interface. The base code is the abstract parent class for every surface code. It requires each implementation to expose metadata plus two concrete methods. The build circuit method will return a full quantum circuit that first prepares the requested logical state, next performs the encoding interactions, and also measures the relevant qubits into classical bits. For now, there is no noise in this circuit, and later in the simulator we'll wrap it up using the noise builders. The logical error rate from counts function then consumes the shot histogram produced by ear simulator, decodes each bit string into a logical bit, compares with the target logical bit, and output the logical error fraction. Because this notebook works exclusively through this interface, any new surface code can plug into the same sweep pipeline by implementing these two functions. Let's take the 3-qubit repetition code for example. Basically, the idea is to encode a logical bit into 3 physical bits so that any single bit flip can be corrected with a majority vote. First, in build circuit function, we can construct a 3-qubit data register with matching classical bits, with 2 CNOT gates to copy the logical amplitude onto the other data qubits, yielding code words 000 or 111. Then use measurement commands map qubits, which keeps the bitstring order consistent with the decoder. And the decoder here iterates over console item, uses bitstring count to perform a majority vote, and increments the logical error totally whenever the inferior logical bit doesn't equal the logical state. Of course, this is assumed in standard Qiskit bitstring ordering. Hence, the notebook ensures all measurements live in a single register and follow the same ordering. So here is a circuit for the 3-qubit repetition code. And here is its output values. And further, we implemented 3 more surface codes, like the 9-qubit shortcode, the 7-qubit steam code, and the three-dimensional rotated surface code. What we do next is we compare a physical baseline curve against the logical error rates of the codes tailored for that noise channel, like the comparison in bit flip noise and in depolarizing noise. But this notebook only demonstrates like the simplest passive settings, as every code faces bit flip noise, so we focused more on illustrating the workflow instead of squeezing optimal performance. Moreover, since QEC only becomes relevant when the system is scaled to a very large number of qubits, the results of this experiment are of limited practical relevance. Finally, we also provide a simple dynamic circuit demo that implements a complete error correction process with a dynamic feedback version of 3-qubit repetition code. Here, it builds a 5-qubit circuit with two ancillars measures their parity syndromes and uses Qiskit's if test to conditionally apply X corrections to the appropriate data qubit. The runActive correction demo function then runs this circuit on ear simulation, claps the results onto the 3 data bits, and reports the success probability of recovering 000 or 111. The above is the current process of this mini QEC lab we built. There are several future works we consider working on, maybe like supporting with higher distance surface codes to study threshold behavior systematically, or integrate more advanced decoders such as minimum weight matching or neural network based decoders. Or we can build a simple web page front end so users can pick noise models or codes more easily. Overall, that's our video presentation for this Fall Fest. Thanks for your listening.